Boom, what's up, guys? Here I am in Denver, Colorado. Actually, I think it's Littleton, Colorado. But I'm out there training with a good friend named Steve. Just an amazing guy, amazing coach, amazing human, man. We got a chance to talk and kick it. And really just open his academy for me to come in and spend some time with a loved one. And I got to witness her blue belt promotion, and it was really nice for him to wait till I got there to experience that, man. So much respect, man. Nothing but respect and love. So, and I also want to give a quick shout out for my videographer, man. I had the privilege to do about 5 or 6 rounds with Steve, but she's my girlfriend and loves to pick the most interesting round, so she went with this one, and I know why. So let's get into the match. Here I am. I go for an arm drag, pops up, but I've been playing bottom game a lot lately, so I'm just gonna stay down there. I love how he puts that knee right in that pocket, man. It kind of makes the pass a little easier once it's there. So I'm trying to reap that heel and create some sort of unbalancing. Go for this shoulder lock. Pulling it back. I'm going to try to stretch him out, but it's not happening. It's just a little too high. So I abandoned that. And now I'm trying to have this chin strap and make his passing a little bit uncomfortable. I do like this over grip that I like to do right here, where I control the lat. It is risky, because you could get caught in that arm triangle from that position. But it's a gamble that I like going for. And even right there, I just went for the John Wayne Kazushi, throwing him off balance to get that underhook, but didn't pay out the way I had hoped for. He's able to stay on top with good control, gets this nice strap, sits through, and doesn't fully sit me back, which, it's new player, so everyone plays very differently. He's got that wide knee away from me instead of him trying to sit me back. So now I'm kind of beginning to know that he's going for this triangle. So I try to defend, but nope, he flares out that elbow. So I'm trying to open up that pocket on his bicep, right? He's in tight. He's in super tight, right? But my focus right here is just to keep that blood flow coming in. Even though it's just a little bit, I know it's enough for me to just stay relaxed, breathe. I'm not moving as much because I'm trying not to get blood flowing to other areas and causing my cardio to expand more. So I'm trying to just find the right opportunity to just start creating these small movements to create space. And I'm just going to ride it out, just patiently wait, keep hitting that bicep, allowing myself to breathe. I'm also moving really close to his hips. I'm just trying to stay as perpendicular with him as parallel, with him. I'm trying not to allow him to turn into that T position, because that's when he can really apply a lot of pressure on that shoulder. So if you notice, I'm trying to stay hip to hip, and I think I stepped over his foot just to even slow his movement down, or so I can be aware of what's going on. As his hips are coming up and I can feel that, I'm going to find, there it is. I try to find that moment to punch my hand through and create more space. He drops his hips back down, and as he's punching forward, I'm just creating a little bit more space. I can breathe a little bit more. I'm not as freaked out, oh shit, I'm about to go out. I'm kind of just chilling here. I'm like, oh boy. When he goes onto mount and catches into my quarter guard, I knew that was my opportunity to start punching through, to bridge and get my my elbow down to the mat. So I'm gonna wait again. When I feel there it is. And once I touched the mat, I knew I cleared it. So there you go, guys. Sometimes when you're in these positions, it's just problem solving, and if you know the mechanics and the structure of a submission, you can disrupt it. So I just knew by just applying a little bit of that open space on that crease of his bicep, I'm going to be able to breathe. It's not the best position. I mean, I'm still here in a really bad position, mounted. He's got one arm, head control. Sheesh. Not looking too good for me, but hey, that's what I love about training, is you really get to explore, you really get to see what areas you can progress, right? So here he is, stay nice and tight, Love the pressure he's putting on me, keeping me flat the whole time. Amazing role, man. You guys gotta check him out if you're in Colorado. Boom, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, the Black Belt Mindset, the show that's meant to inspire you and motivate you to go out and be the best version of yourself. This week, I'm in Denver, Colorado, training at Catharo Training Center with my good friend. I just met him, but he's an amazing athlete, an amazing professor, and the hospitality has been amazing. Steve, tell us a little bit about yourself. Just introduce yourself, your name, age, and what's your rank.
All right, Steve Hordensky. My name, my age. Geez, I'm 48 now, getting old, and I'm a 4th degree black belt under Master Kaiki. So I've been doing it a long time.
Nice, man. So let me ask you the question that I get asked a lot, and then this answer varies for everybody. What inspired you to start training jiu-jitsu? What was that moment like for you?
Well, I think it goes past jiu-jitsu. It goes before jiu-jitsu. It was just martial arts in general. When I was growing up, I was kind of a small kid, so I was like, maybe I'll learn some martial arts. So I started studying like Kippo karate and stuff like that, really into like Bruce Lee and things of that nature. And then 1993, UFC happened, right? And I was way into martial arts at that point, and I was like, I don't know if that'll work on me. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna get taken down or anything like that. So that's when I was fascinated with it, but more of like I want to see if it works on me, So, the first UFC was here in Colorado, right? In 1993, we all saw what happened, and that started everything to where we're at today here in the U.S. And I remember immediately I'm gonna do wrestling because there was no jiu-jitsu, So I was like, all right, well, wrestling will probably help, right? And so I did wrestling, and then I shipped off for the Navy. And that was in 1994 when I graduated, December. Spent Christmas in boot camp, Great Lakes, Illinois. And then from there, did my A school, wanted to go into special forces. Didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen. And then I ended up getting stationed in Hawaii. That's when I got my first exposure to jiu-jitsu.
Nice.
Yeah. 1997 was when it happened. And it was a good friend of mine. We're still really good friends. Kelsey Gracie, black belt, and Phil Cardella. He was in the Marines, and he brought mats on board. Someone knew I did martial arts. He said, "Hey, there's some guys doing martial arts down at Tank Deck." It happened to be Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, so that's how it started.
Wow, that's amazing. And how has jiu-jitsu changed your life? Like from practicing other martial arts and actually doing jiu-jitsu, how has it changed your life?
It's a good question. Well, first off, the effectiveness really showed me that this is not to say that others aren't real martial arts, right? But to me, it was the first real solution to a real fight. That if I knew jiu-jitsu and you didn't, I was probably going to win that altercation 9 times out of 10, right? So that really brought me into being a martial artist. And I would say that the biggest thing about that was that it gave me a way to live my life, because now as a jiu-jitsu martial artist, I was wanting to change my life so I could be a better competitor, so that I could be better on the mat. I was being challenged mentally that I couldn't go in there being big and strong and expect to do well against a guy who was half my size, because they knew some shit, right? And so I think having the Bushido kind of that Bushido code, living by some kind of warrior's code, really was instilled to me from the beginning, but then reinforced in jiu-jitsu because I was out there testing it, I was learning it, I was studying it, I was changing my whole life around this aspect of what kind of martial artist am I going to be, and I think coming from a traditional background in martial arts and then walking into jiu-jitsu where it's very untraditional, right? Bringing that back in there with me, I just it basically gave me my life, man. To be honest, I was kind of a piece of shit before jiu-jitsu, ego, thought I was, big, strong, tough guy, and in reality, I was, when I got exposed as not, as soon as someone wrapped around my neck, it's holy cow, this stuff really works. And at that moment, I was like, okay, we need to study. And it's just been a humbling experience. You know how it is, man. You get on the mat, you're like, oh, I'm doing great. And then you run into this savage, you're like, okay, I need to rethink some things. I'm glad it happened, but I'm not glad it happened. You kind of struggle a little bit. And you're like, go back, you're like, all right, let's get to work. And that just beats down the ego. And then you just come around and you're like, no, jiu-jitsu keeps you humble.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it keeps you on that search and that chase for progress, never perfection. I mean, to me, that perfection is an illusion. It's just progress. That's it. It's just be 1% better than who you were yesterday. And it's amazing that as I do these interviews, I get to meet amazing people like yourself, and I realize that, holy shit, we have so much in common. Because that's been my life journey. You think you're a badass, you go in and you get humbled very quick, and it's like you either quit because you don't want to learn, or you say, you know what, let me put that to the side and really expand and see how deep this rabbit hole goes. Thank you for sharing, man. Thank you so much. And how has jiu-jitsu has helped you overcome some life challenges? Because jiu-jitsu is not easy, and it takes a lot emotionally, physically, and then you have to deal with the outside world. Family problems, financial problems, work problems, health problems, so many. And yet you've made it this far, so that means you've never made an excuse not to show up to the mats and put in the work. Well, how has jiu-jitsu, what event has it helped you overcome?
It's helped me overcome a lot, in my life. Not saying I went through a whole bunch of bad stuff, but like, the thing about jiu-jitsu for me is that the moment I walk in the academy, the moment I take my shoes off and I step on the mat, like everything just goes away, and it's like, it's the best feeling, right? Step on the mat, like, okay, whatever I was doing with yesterday, whatever was going on in the past, whatever's going to happen in the future, like this moment, I'm doing what I absolutely love. And that's being on the mat with people who love jiu-jitsu, being passionate about sharing it with them, and seeing how it changed their lives. That really just makes a big difference, But is that mine?
That's mine. How rude! You can share it off. How rude! Sorry, guys.
That's yours.
Yeah, share it off.
But take two.
This is the uncut, unversion, guys. Raw for you guys.
Yeah, but 2020 was challenging for a lot of people. Everybody, right? Yeah. And for me, that was probably when I felt like after everything happened. So 2020 happened. I'm like, all right, we're gonna be shut down just for a couple weeks. Okay, let's see what happens. And I was married at the time, and at that moment, we weren't doing good, for a little while. And like when 2020 happened, it's like, everything just kind of blew up. It was like, all right, we're shut down. I'm like, well, at least we're together. Then we're not together, and then like I'm seeing a lot of people leave. Like people that I thought were like really close friends of mine, and for whatever reason, maybe it's my doing, it's a little bit both, or maybe it was just like, that was just the way it's supposed to be. Some people are in your life for a long time, some people are in there for a short time, and that was that acceptance that I had to give. But in that moment, like, I put so much life into, running an academy for, 10 years, and, like my identity has been wrapped up in, jiu-jitsu and teaching, and, and sometimes I don't realize that, like, hey, you still got to take care of yourself, like you may be doing all this for your academy, for your jiu-jitsu, for students and things like that, but what about you? And when I got down, when everything kind of cleared out and the house was empty and I was just sitting there, I was like, man, I didn't want to, I had like kind of dark thoughts, I mean, everything fell apart. It was like a trifecta. I got hit from all these different angles, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get back on my grind. I talked to my dad, in that moment, I looked at like, what would my life be like, if I didn't do jiu-jitsu? It would be like, I could never imagine that, like it just would be so bland, right? And I remembered like, when I was low, and I was thinking to myself, like, there's a lot of people counting on me. Like, there's a lot of people that depend on me, including my family, including my daughter, including, my friends and everything like that. I was like, I need to stand up. So, get her back up, started putting my shoes back on, showing up to the academy, started training. I lost a lot of weight. I looked real bad. but I just rebuilt myself and rebuilt myself and rebuilt myself, and then I got back into that training. And I'll tell you, if it wasn't for jiu-jitsu, I don't know if I would, what would be my purpose, Like, I mean, everybody has a purpose, and, maybe you can change your purpose here in life, but like, I already knew, like, this is all I ever wanted to do. And so when I lost when the divorce happened, when the threat of losing the academy, and then, losing a lot of students and having to go back, like 5 years of work, right? I'm like, that took me a long time to get there. Oh man, I came back with new fire, and I just got busy, man. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Are you gonna let your circumstance beat you, or are you gonna be tougher than your circumstance? And I'm like, well, I never quit before, so let's get our ass to work. And we've been growing on our grind since then. That's what got me back into fighting. Coaching MMA fighters, that brought some fire back into me. Start training hard again. That brought some fire back into me. And then, making new friends. Like, I would never really go out a lot for my academy, But then I'm like, let me show up some mats, I'm like, I'm gonna go train with this guy. I'm gonna go over here. I start traveling, doing seminars and things like that. And then, it brought me back to here, I'll be here on the mat with you, training today, bro. That was awesome.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for sharing, man. Thank you so much, man. That's really inspiring words, man. And like I said, shit, man, I see, like, I hear your words, and I'm like, there's a reflection of a mirror. Like, just my voices are coming out through you. And that was the purpose of this, starting this channel. It's what motivated me. So people always say, oh, you're so inspiring. And I hear stories, and I'm like, man, this guy's inspiring. Just that his story has to get out. And I know what that's like to go through a divorce. I was married for 16 years. Almost same story. I was freaking homeless at 40 years old. Homeless. I had to rebuild everything. And it's like, you do jiu-jitsu, at least, to me, it was like, when challenges came up, this was my happy place. This was my therapy.
Right.
And like, when I started jiu-jitsu, it was one of those things where I was like, I want to challenge myself. At least that's what I used to say to myself. But through personal reflection and deep searching, I was just like rebuilding my life. It was my therapy. It was my cure to all the family trauma, all the shit that I experienced. Because even through hardship, when I'm facing them, it's here. This is where I go back to. This is my coping mechanism, And so when it's two different things, to be inspired to start and to be inspired to continue. What inspires you today to keep showing up, to keep grinding, despite your injury? I know you shared with me you have all these injuries. And at those times, it's really easy for people to make the excuse that I'm a black belt, I need to train hard, I don't need to do this. But yeah, here you are, grinding, from your own words, quote unquote. You're just grinding. What is that inspires you today to get up every day?
Well, one, I love jiu-jitsu. Like, love it. Like, when I'm coming to the academy, I'm always excited. You ever get the butterflies?
Sure, yeah.
Back in the day, like, you're about to head to, everyone's going to Helsinki school. I'll be like, all right, I know it's gonna be some tough rounds, little butterflies. Not like I'm scared to be there. I'm like, ooh, I can't wait, So I still get that when I come in to train. When I find little discoveries, like better ways of doing jiu-jitsu, better ways of, attacking a problem. My family's like my dad was an engineer, grandfather was an engineer, so I feel like, got like that maybe that mindset is something that I got from them. And jiu-jitsu gives me that satisfaction of solving a problem all the time. They're complex, right? And they're different body types, right? So you're like, every little body type or little angle change can create such a problem that you're like, okay, let me work on that problem. So I think that aspect right there is like my why, for myself. Like, it gives me something to work on. And I love challenging myself with that mentally, And but the best part of it isn't that. The best part of it is the interactions with people, because like, I'm not really a people person, per se. Like, I'm more of an introvert, right? And so you're an introvert trying to do a job where like extroverts, right? So I might be saying extroverts. How do you say it? Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, whatever. The guys who are outspoken, the guys who are happy, the life of the party. I am not, and I'm gonna sound cool chilling by myself. And right. Um, I think it's been a sort of kind of a recent discovery is that like I'll be like, you're doing great, but I won't say it. I'll just expect you to understand that like I know you're doing great. I'm not saying anything because you're doing awesome, right? But like people need to hear that encouragement. And I never really was like that. But then like I started doing that now with my students because like that's a part of me that I'm forward to. You tell me give me a jujitsu problem, great, no problem. You give me like a social thing, I'm like, let me go back to the jujitsu problem. I like that better. But the reason why I keep doing it is because I don't know, I just like helping people, you know, like jiu-jitsu helped me, maybe I could help them. Maybe not necessarily help them, but like give them some tools to help themselves, you know? Because I think like getting in here and training jiu-jitsu day in, day out, it's a personal journey. You have friends that are going to be there with you, maybe lifelong friends, maybe, you know, friends you don't see very often, but as soon as you do, it's like you never missed a beat.
Yeah.
Sure, you're going to build that. Why? Because everybody's vulnerable here on the mat. And like, I don't know if you experience this, but as a teacher, you know, I'm sure you have, you get the person that comes in first day and they come at you, like, and they want to train with you. It's not you just training with that person. It's them bringing all their trauma, all their anger, all their everything is coming at you, and you're reworking that energy. You're redirecting them. You're taking their power and you're neutralizing it. You're letting them work some things out, and so like that experience is like a bonding experience. You know, like guys like you and I when we roll, it's a refinement of our life. You know, in a way, and like so we get the same kind of bond, but we don't have to fuck each other up. You know, it's like I can tell we've been doing it for a long time. But like when you get the brand new person that doesn't know anything and you see them stick around, you see them level up not on the mat but in their life, you see them level up, you know, in their relationships, you know, you see them, you know, whatever, you know, they just become a better version. I think that is probably the most rewarding thing I've ever experienced, ever. Because like your personal accomplishments, sure, they mean something to you, right? But if they don't, like, what do they mean to someone else? If you help that person accomplish something that means something to them, you help them do that, man, that's like, I think that's what it's about. You know, helping others, lift others up, you know, what they say, like when the tide rises, all ships rise together. Let's just keep it rising, you know?
Yeah, that's powerful. Thank you for sharing, man. Thank you so much. And so if someone's watching right now and is on the fence of wanting to do something that may sound difficult to them, what would you tell that person to inspire them to take action?
Do it. Like, you know, you'll never know what you can be if you don't try. You know, like it's a funny story you were saying, like about John and her, like nobody knew he was gonna be John. You were training with him back in the day, and look at him now. You know, what if he never tried? You know, what if you never tried? I don't know, man. Like, if you're thinking about it, just get out and do it. You know, give yourself at least like 1 year. Like, just say I'm gonna commit to 1 year. You know, I hate to say it, at least commit to get to your blue belt, right? I hate when people quit when they get their blue belt, though, right? The blue belt blues, right? They take off. You're like, where's that blue belt?
Yeah.
But you know, at least if they make it to that level, you know, they got some skills.
Yeah.
And they might come back. So I say, like, get out, try it. If it makes you uncomfortable, it's the right thing to do because that's the only way you're going to grow. You won't grow staying in comfort. You won't grow staying warm and cozy. You're only going to grow when you put yourself in an environment where you maybe don't know shit, maybe where you are a little scared. But if you do it, the person that comes out of that is a person is going to be unrecognizable. And then once you hit the next goal, keep setting a goal. Every time you hit a goal, set a goal and keep going and keep going and keep going. You should do this the rest of your life, you know?
And all areas of your life too.
Yeah. It's like I try to, to me, jiu-jitsu, it's a mind, body, spirit thing, right?
100%.
Right. And, I want to have that balance there, and I know if I make a change mentally, I'll make a change spiritually and physically. If I make a physical change, I'm going to make a change in those aspects. And I think, working on each aspect of your life, like, I don't know what everybody's got a spiritual practice. Maybe you meditate, maybe you go to church. I do both, for my mind, I read books, I listen to audiobooks. I'm always learning like something, and it's not always jujitsu. It's not always business. It's philosophy. Different music. Like we were talking. I've been getting into the Beatles, but I also love classical music because it just stimulates the mind. And then what are you doing for your body? I'm not always doing jujitsu. I'm doing yoga. I'm doing the Budokan movements. I'm doing strength and conditioning. Like it's not just jujitsu. So I think like focusing on those areas of your life, having perfect balance. Isn't that what we're trying to do?
Yeah.
Be happy, live the life you want, and have balance in the important aspects of your life. How's your family life? How's your relationship with people, with your family, with your children, with your siblings? So I try to think about all that as a martial artist. That's the martial art. Jiu-jitsu is the sport. Jiu-jitsu is a martial art. But are you a martial artist that does jiu-jitsu?
Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Steve. Thank you so much for taking the time and
brother.
sitting down with us and sharing your journey, man. Thank you so much. And guys, if you're in Denver, Colorado, I'm telling you, I've been to so many different academies around the world. He has opened his door, welcomed me in such a way that I got to give him a shout out. If you're in Denver and you're looking for a place to train, just please come and check him out. Tell us the name of your academy, website, how can they find you, how they can connect with you?
Yeah,
social media, all that.
Yeah, Catharo Training Center. We're in Littleton, Colorado. Website is catharotrainingcenter.com. That's Katharo. It's the Greek word for pure jiu-jitsu, right? My Instagram, Hordinsky, the little dash underscore. Yeah, Hordinsky underscore jiu-jitsu. And we have our Catharo Training Center page as well. So pretty easy to get a hold of.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for saying that. And again, guys, please come by, check them out, buy a t-shirt, do a drop-in, be the best version of yourself. I'll see you guys soon. God bless. Thank you.